Hello, and welcome to the Tarot Storyteller. This is a semi-new YouTube channel I've created solely for tarot readings. As a reader, I'm looking for a story in the cards, and then looking for some sort of resonance or empathy that helps me evaluate my personal life and current situation. I invite my audience to do the same, and if it's something that's helpful, cool. If not, don't worry about it. We're just here to have fun. Today's reading is a look at how to learn from and or restart a stalled creative process. This can pertain to your career as a whole or an individual project. I try to keep things pretty quick in general so you have time to listen to as much as you'd like and then think it over. We have 3 piles to choose from. I will leave timestamps below for the individual sections, and I will come back on at the end to talk about the decks I used. Hello to those of you who chose pile 1. Let's take a look at the tarot first, and then I'll circle back to these oracles. In the first row, we have the Muse of Materials or King of Pentacles clarified by the Anchor. I feel as if you have some sort of routine or process that works really well for you, and you tend to lean on it to produce consistent work one way or another. But with the Magician in reverse clarified by the Cross, it feels as if something particularly heavy or burdensome has thrown you off of that creative groove. Now, we can read the cross as grief brought on by an outside, perhaps personal situation, and if that's the case and you are grieving the loss of something, please be gentle with yourself, and if things get too intense, try to bring your focus back to taking care of your body. Hygiene, hydration, regular meals, getting 8 hours of sleep. Often rebuilding more complex creative routines after a big upset starts with these basic self-care things. Another way to read the cross, though, could just simply be stagnation brought on by the consistency in which you've been following your normal routine. So the cross can talk about following things with a fanatical intensity, and it figuratively driving you into the ground. So if this is the case, take a look at your processes and consider how you can switch things up to refresh yourself. For example, take a day off, go for a hike, take photos, sketch or write descriptions of the flora and or fauna. Or if you're feeling less adventurous, post up on the couch and watch that new movie or a few episodes of a series you've been itching to try, and then free write a review or make some fan art. In the final column, we have the Knight of Inspiration, or Knight of Wands, in reverse, clarified by the Ring. An easy read of this would be that you need to curb or master your wilder instincts and bring yourself back to those processes that worked in the past. However, in context of the bigger spread, I feel like it's more of a need to break the cycle in order to return to it with a clearer head. So it's indulging that wilder instinct, at least for a moment, in order to get a different perspective on your process. So an interesting interplay happens when we look at the Lenormand cards in succession. The Anchor is ended by the cross, and the cross strengthens the commitment of the Ring. So in that context, sure, the Ring has a very cyclical nature to it, but while it's dedication to a singular goal, it's not necessarily dedication to a singular path. So it's asking you to take a step back and reconsider the way that you are approaching rather than the endeavor itself. So it's not letting go of your goals, but reconsidering the way that you are coming at them. So let's take a quick look at the oracles for a little bit more context. In the beginning of the spread, we have the Flower Spirit Oracle, which encourages you to look at things with a soft, playful eye. Considering the heaviness of the cross and the constancy and seriousness of the King of Pentacles, clarified by the Anchor, this is encouraging quite a change in outlook. And again, I feel like it's that shift that brings you back to the sense of renewed commitment to your work. At the close of the spread, we have the Rose Garden, which talks about transformation and integration. It's a very alchemical energy, transforming yourself through the adversity you face, allowing yourself to be broken down and rebuilt. Take that into your creative processes and use that resistance that you feel to transform your work and the way you approach it. I feel like the big resistance in this spread is a feeling that if you deviate from the norm, you'll further lose control. And the underlying advice here is to let go of that concern and any over-seriousness you're holding around your work and processes. Renewal comes from a creative approach and from not taking your work too seriously. Another thing that I see circling back is this feeling of, maybe trying to avoid the cross, avoiding that heaviness in order to preserve or lean back on those cycles. And if that's the case, it's really important that you process and feel those emotions, right? Even if it's bad, negative, in your head swords energy. There's still a need to acknowledge, parse, process those things. Even if you're wrong, even if they're, self-destructive, it's good to look at those and say, hey, this is a self-destructive thing. I need to not do this. I understand where this is coming from though. So that's what I have for you, pile 1. If it didn't resonate, please feel free to watch another pile or two. Alright, and if you like this reading, please consider clicking the like button below and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching and have an awesome day. Hello to those of you who chose pile 2. This is a fairly straightforward spread, so I'm just going to jump in on the opening oracle, which is Treasured Memories. This card talks about nostalgia and the way that our experiences in the past shape who we are in the present day. So getting into that first row of tarot, we start with the Three of Materials, or Three of Pentacles, clarified by the ring. Now this is a very cooperative vibe. Your creative process may be largely based on what you've learned from others, or may intertwine with others' creative processes. Perhaps you have an editor that you work closely with, or you're in a band and are collaborating on your compositions. Bringing that oracle card back into it, it could be somebody that you've known for a long time, or just somebody that shares a common upbringing with you. So when we look at the second column, we have the Page of Materials, or Page of Pentacles, clarified by the lilies. So the Page of Pentacles is learning, or a message regarding learning, where the lilies is an interesting compound symbol of both inheritance and sexuality. Combined, it could be that you've learned something about your family history that has changed the way that you look at your work, or perhaps a romantic relationship has sprung from that cooperative energy we saw in the last column. Either way, this new information is a complication to your regular creative groove, but the resolution seems well within hand. In the final column, we have the Muse of Voices, or King of Swords, clarified by the letter. There's a need to write out and really process the new information that has come to light around this lily symbol, whichever meaning resonates to your particular situation. Now, it doesn't have to be something that you're going out to share with anyone else. It could even be a series of journal entries you keep entirely private. But the point of the King of Swords is being truthful and honest and upright with who you are, and using that energy to move towards your goals. However, we're looking at the closing oracle being the gift. So you may want to consider how to best package your feelings. It could be that you create something wonderful that can really boost your career or introduce you to some vital part of your creative process. As a writer, there are so many ways to hide complex feelings and truths in your work in a way that would create plausible deniability to even the most informed eye. So work in a way that honors who you are and what you're comfortable sharing with the world, but don't hide your gifts away. Overall, this is a feeling of coming from a cooperative or open learning situation where you've discovered something about yourself, your emotions, your past, or maybe a relationship. And you're being invited to really reveal that truth in your work in whatever capacity is comfortable for you. So I do feel like the latter part of the process is an internal one, or at least an individual one, and the way that may involve integrating something that you've learned from a more group relationship on your own. Okay, so that's what I have for you, pile 2. It's a bit more compact than the first reading, but it feels pretty straightforward. If this didn't resonate, please feel free to watch another pile or two. If you like this reading, please consider clicking the like button below and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and have an awesome day. Hello to those who chose pile 3. Before I start, I will say that I went into these readings without a particular spread meaning in mind, but it seems that the crux of the situation has fallen in the middle of the spread every time, which is either a neat coincidence or just an insight in how I subconsciously or intuitively analyze these. So anyway, I'm going to start there for this reading, right in the middle of the spread. Here we see the Muse of Emotions, or King of Cups, clarified by the Gentleman. This is a lot of masculine energy, which isn't necessarily gendered, of course. It could be about hard control, power, or just taking things into your own hands. The King of Cups particularly represents emotional mastery. We can interpret the Gentleman very similarly to the Emperor, or as a significator of a prominent masculine presence. So the issue at hand here may be one or both. There could be a need to practice emotional mastery around a strong masculine character in your personal or creative life. You could be getting thrown off by your feelings for a particular person, which is causing you to lose a bit of a grip on your processes. Alternatively, this could simply be encouraging you to step more into the secure energy around your emotions. Perhaps it's not a particular person that's causing the problem, but you're having trouble corralling your emotional response to something. Jumping back to that first column, we have the magician clarified by the stork. So it seems as if you are working toward an ascension in your career, or perhaps just getting a particular project off the ground. Pulling things together, it seems as if it's encouraging to take a holistic approach to the situation and acknowledge the toll that runaway emotions may have on not just this project or career path that you're trying to bring into fruition, but overall well-being. In the final column, we have the world cosmos clarified by the snake. Now, this particular Lenormand deck has two snake cards, splitting and expanding the symbology of the traditional snake Lenormand card. This particular card is a fierce version of the snake, which can indicate something unseen or manipulative afoot, or simply a need to be on defense and lean on your own strength. It feels as if the cycle here has not yet been complete because you've been too defensive. You've been holding on too tight and not focusing on the bigger picture. Perhaps this is around an emotional wound. It's likely that there's a lot of emotional integration around this. Perhaps the project is something close to you, a portrait of a loved one, a memoir piece, something that has personal or spiritual resonance to it. Taking into account the opening oracle, O Sunny Day, which encourages a happy and carefree outlook, there's also an openness to it, which is allowing good things to come your way. And while often creative work can be personal and raw, it's important not to take yourself or your work too seriously and keep an eye on the good that comes out of both the processes and sharing with others. Now, the closing oracle, Elixir of Life, indicates that there is healing to be done here. Either being able to move forward with and finish this work is going to really heal you, or doing the work and being able to take care of yourself is the key to mustering the drive and mindset to finish this project. I'd say in a lot of cases, both can be true and it can feed into itself. Anyway, that's what I have for you, pile 3. If this didn't resonate, please feel free to watch another pile or two. If you like this reading, please consider clicking the like button below and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching and have an awesome day. Hi there, and welcome to the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, again, I'd like to ask you to consider clicking the like button below and subscribing. I tend to put out a video a week on this channel, including zodiac-based general readings and pick a card readings like this one. I use 3 decks in this reading. The Oracle is the Oracle of Mystical Moments deck, which is a lovely and whimsical deck. The tarot is the Muse tarot, which I use often with creative readings because it has an imaginative and creative aesthetic. And the Lenormand deck is the Celtic Lenormand, which is very new to me, but I feel it integrates well into tarot reading. I actually picked up the Oracle of Mystical Moments and the Celtic Lenormand when I was on vacation last week, which is why there was no video last week. Alright, so this is the actual end of the video. If you're still watching, thanks so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.